Nafs al-Lawwama. Nafs al-Lawwama, some of the scholars took it, that this nafs is mu'mina. It's a good. So here, let's go back to the three parameters. Al-aql, al-qalb, al-jasad. Nafs al-Lawwama, that means the brain is good. The brain believe in the aqidah, in the proper aqidah, believe in la ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. They have that belief. But what happened is that his iman is not very strong. So when his iman is not very strong, his heart is not very strong, and the one in control of al-nafs will be the flesh or al-jasad or the lust and desires that he has. So this person that has that nafs al-lawwama, when he does good, okay, it will come and will blame him. Why didn't you do more of the goodness? Okay, because of the iman that he has in the brain. And if he does something wrong, also that this soul will blame that person. Why did you do wrong? Because of the iman that it has. Okay. Some of the people said, do we find that in the Quran, or we're talking about, this? The scholar, they said, we find that in the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَأَوْرَثْنَا الْكِتَابَ الَّذِينَ اصْطَفَيْنَا مِنْ عِبَادِنَا. أَوْرَثْنَا الْكِتَابَ. أَوْرَثْنَا الْكِتَابَ. Al-Kitab here, the scholar, they have different idea of interpreting the Kitab. Some of the people said, أَوْرَثْنَا الْكِتَابَ. That means those people are believers because they have inherited the book of Allah, or they have inherited the aqidah of Allah, or they have inherited the system of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, al-manhaj al-rabbani. Otherwise, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will, what is the book that they have inherited? The book of aqidah, the book of iman. Okay, they inherit. وَأَوْرَثْنَا الْكِتَابَ الَّذِينَ اصْطَفَيْنَا مِنْ عِبَادِنَا. And also those are the chosen people. So will Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala choose people who they are bad? No. Will Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give the people to people who they are bad? No. So those group of people are good people, are believers. The brain, the first part, the aql, is good. They follow the system of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. ثم أورثنا الكتاب الذين اصطفينا من عبادنا فمنهم ظالم لنفسه ومنهم مقتصد ومنهم سابق بالخيرات. So they said those three categories are the categories that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned about al-nafs. Al-nafs al-ammara bis-su could be nafs mu'mina, but the iman is very weak. The lust and the desire of the heart is controlling the nafs. ومنهم مقتصد. Muqtasid is a nafs al-lawwama, they call it. Nafs al-lawwama, when you do good, it will blame you for not doing more good. And if you do bad, it will blame you for doing that particular bad. وَمِنْهُمْ سَابِقٌ بِالْخَيْرَاتِ. And this is the third soul, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in the Quran, al-nafs al-mutma'inna. Al-nafs al-mutma'inna, iman in the brain is good, iman in the heart is good, and he is in controlling that. The brain and the heart is controlling the soul, and the soul now is the opposite, they say, is controlling the body rather than the body is controlling the soul. Okay? So this is from Islamic point of view, studying what they call it, the emotional intelligence. So now, we're going to go into another phase. Yes?
So I just want to make sure that I understand what you're saying.
You understand?
I just want to make sure you're saying that the nafs is not in control.
Not in control?
The nafs is not the one that's doing the action. It's the desire of the brain, the heart, and your body that is telling the nafs what to do.
Okay, now if you, I made a mistake. I talked too much about to control, about that being a nafs in command. That's what you got the point.
Yeah, yeah.
But in the last 30 seconds,
Yeah, the three.
I mentioned the opposite.
The opposite.
I mentioned the opposite, that before that the body, the jasad, is controlling a nafs, or the heart or the brain. But when the heart and the brain, they become good, they make the nafs controlling the jasad. So it's flipping.
It's a two-way street.
But I talked too much for 5 minutes about the first part, and the second part went zoom in 30 seconds. That's where I made a mistake.
So
I want you to take care of that.
Yeah, so if the body is healthy, and the brain is healthy, and the heart is healthy, the nafs will be mutmainna.
Yes,
Okay, and vice versa.
Then a nafs will be good,
Yeah.
and then the nafs will be controlling the body.
The body.
Even though that I have a desire to eat, and I don't have money to eat, but I'm not going to steal. I have a desire for pork chip, okay? But I'm not going to do haram because my mind is set right and my heart is set right. It is very difficult with all the scholars, whether they are Westerns or Islamic, to know the relationship between those four parameters of the body that I have mentioned. So the subject is not easy. It is a difficult subject. If you understood what I said, Jazakumullah khair, that would be you very intelligent. And if you did not understand it, that means I did not explain it very well, because it's a difficult subject. Now, if you read on the subject, and some people want to read, I want to tell those people who they do not speak Arabic, and they do not seek Arabic resources, remember the first point that I mentioned. If you're talking to a Western people, or non-Arabic or non-Muslim people, they're always going to concentrate on the result. Islamic point of view, we will concentrate on the cause, on the effect. You see, on the cause. We concentrate on the person himself. We concentrate on the brain to fix it, to make it good. We concentrate on the heart. You see? So when we concentrate on those two things, then ultimately when you control those, you control the result and you control the behavior. Western, they're not talking about how to control, how to convince the brain and how to convince the heart. They talk about that we have this particular problem, how we're going to solve it. So they're talking about all their studies, that what I have came to, they're talking about finding solution for all those results. So people are doing crime, okay, they'll call them, they're sick people, they put them in jail, they put them this and that, and they try to treat them. Some people, they try, and then the biggest problem, and the biggest problem is that they are using drugs to control people or to control the human being. In Islam, we have a different situation. Okay, if I bring you this, I need to go to the second point to illustrate my point. The Westerns believe that there are some diseases that are not curable. Okay? So from their study, they tell you, if the person, when he is a little boy, he starts lying too much, this guy is a liar by nature. Okay? So you need to reprimand him, to punish him, to do something to make him stop. They choose that. In Islam, we don't choose punishment to do that. We will go ahead and treat the brain and the heart by connecting the brain and the heart with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, connecting the brain and the heart with the Jannah, arduha as-samawati wal ard. Some little kids, when they were, little kids, they take all the toys. You call them selfishness. Those are, by nature, they are selfish. Now, all of us by nature are selfish to some degree, because this is created within our soul, حب البقاء. which everybody recognizes. I have to survive. But you'll find the believer, when his brain is correct and his heart is correct, he sacrifices all his wealth, all his life for the cause of Allah. So what made him overcome his stinginess, his selfishness? The way that we treated the brain and the heart. You see? So that's why the difference between Islamic study and Western studies, we always go to the heart. To prove that is being mad. Some of the kids, whenever you tell them he's green, and he yells and he gets mad. You see them in those little kids. And some of those Western, they said, well, this person is mad by nature. He's nervous, always nervous. He's always unhappy. So they classify him. How to treat him? Give him tranquilizer. Give him something to calm him down. They inject him with chemicals. They inject him with drugs. In Islam, no. In Islam, the proof of that is, a guy came to the Prophet ﷺ. He said, Ya Rasulullah, advise me. The Prophet ﷺ said, La taghdab. Don't get mad. So the person stopped for a while, and then he came to the Prophet and said, Ya Rasulullah, advise me. The Prophet ﷺ said, La taghdab. Don't get mad. Then he waited, came for the third time. He said, advise me. He said, La taghdab. Now, the hadith is authentic, no doubt. So here is a situation. If getting mad and getting nervous is something you were born with and cannot be treatable except with drugs like the Westerns do, if this is true, that means the hadith of the Prophet, وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, it doesn't make sense. It's not logical. Because the Prophet ﷺ is telling that person, La taghdab, and if this is something embedded in his soul and his body and cannot be curable except with drugs, that means the hadith of the Prophet is nonsense. وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, it cannot be the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ to be nonsense, because he لا ينطق عن الهوى إن هو إلا وحي يوحى. He is ordered by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to see what he says. Now, that means getting mad and getting nervous is curable by curing the brain and by curing the heart. So لا تغضب في سبيل الله. لا تغضب والكاظمين الغيظ والعافين عن الناس والله يحب المحسنين. That means if you train me correctly, you train my brain correctly, and you train my heart correctly, that means I can control my anger. I can control my hatred. I can control this, I can control that. That means it is curable from Islamic point of view, you know, by brain and by heart. Okay? Some people fear. That's another disease of the heart. Some people fear of death. All of us fear of death. Correct? Correct. And Sayyidina Aisha radiallahu anha told the Prophet ﷺ that in the hadith that is authentic in the Bukhari. وَكُلُّنَا يَكْرَهُ الْمَوْتَ يَا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ.